Okay, bonjour. Super easy lesson. We're going to talk about expressions of quantity, words like a lot of and too many of and a few of, etc. So before I actually do the vocab, I'm going to teach you how to do this because it's super easy. If I want to say something like there is enough bread, you've got the word assez, which means enough, and bread, which is du pain. I would say du pain because it's a substance, right? However, when we're saying enough bread, we don't have to think about whether it's count or not. Well, not really. We're just going to say assez de and then pain. Think back to the lesson we did earlier in the year where we have one noun describe another, and I said only de goes in the middle. We're doing something similar here, only we're using adverbs to describe nouns, and you only use de in the middle. So that's the big thing. Only use de in the middle. There's no articles. It's not du pain anymore. It still has no S on it because it's not plural. You don't say enough breads. So that's something that's important to realize. But even that, who's going to do that? Likewise, if you want to say, I have a lot of wine, well, the word for a lot of is beaucoup. So we're going to say beaucoup de, and then it's du vin or le vin. We're just going to say vin, though. Again, no article. These quantity words, when you say assez de and beaucoup de, they stand in for the article. We don't need an article anymore because we've got assez de and beaucoup de giving us information about the noun. A lot of wine, enough bread. Likewise, for count nouns, you do the exact same thing. So if I want to say there's enough tomatoes, or there are enough tomatoes, il y a assez de tomates. Now, just notice that with a count noun, you do keep the S. That's it. That's the only real difference is since it's counted, we have plural. Obvious, it's plural if you've got more than one. Likewise, if you want to say, I have a lot of friends, j'ai beaucoup d'amis. Now, look carefully at this one. There's one thing you do have to know is that if you have de ever in front of a vowel, it does contract to D apostrophe. So there's your grammar right there for the most part. There's a little bit more grammar in a few minutes, but that's it. You just put the adverb, de, and then the noun. And if there's a vowel, contract de. That part of the quiz is going to be super easy. What will be maybe a little bit difficult is you have to make sure you memorize these words. So I'm going to go through and say them. Please repeat and think a little bit about the meaning. So let's go. Repeat after me. Trop means too many or too much. Many if you're talking about a mass noun. Much if you're talking about many if you're talking about a count noun. Too many tomatoes. Much if you're talking about a mass noun. Too much bread. This isn't a distinction they have in French for these, so you don't have to worry about choosing between many and much. It's just the word trop. All right, let's continue. Répétez. Assez, meaning enough. Beaucoup, meaning a lot of or lots of. Un peu, or un peu de, meaning a little or a few. You could also say a little bit of. Tant, meaning so many or so much. Autant, meaning as many or as much. Moins, meaning less or fewer. You had that one in the junior high. Peu, meaning few. Plus, meaning more. You had that one in the junior high. Oh, sorry. Peu means few or little. Make sure you write that in there as well. And then finally, pas, which you're used to using ne pas together, but you can say pas de problème. Not of problem to say no problem, not any problem. D'accord? So you don't need the ne necessarily every time you use pas or every time you're negating something. If you're negating a noun to say there is no noun, pas de chien, no dog, pas de chat, no cat, or not any cats. D'accord? Okay. There's also collective nouns that you'll have to learn as well. And these behave the same way, and they're actually grammatically the same as what we did early in the year when we said le club d'aventure, the club of adventure, to say adventure club. So if you want to say, I want a slice of pizza, it's the same as saying a pizza slice. D'accord? You're using a slice to describe how much pizza. Just like you describe adventure, or use adventure to describe what kind of club. So you're going to say tranche first, just like slice of, tranche de pizza. Je veux Sorry, you want une tranche de pizza. So you do have to put this there since it's a noun. Every noun needs an article. So you're going to have to say, je veux une tranche de pizza. Je veux une tranche de pizza. D'accord? Likewise, if you want to say, if you're the server and you're saying, here's a glass of white wine, you say, voilà, I'll look at the word, un verre de vin blanc. D'accord? Easy. It's very easy. These ones, as they're nouns, they all have articles that you have to remember to put in as well. So un verre de, une tasse de, etc. But let's go ahead and go through those. And then there's just one little note at the end before we get into the practice. So repeat after me. Un verre, a glass. Une tasse, a cup. Une bouteille, a bottle. Une canette, a soda can. Une goutte, that's a drop. Un morceau, a piece of or a bit of. Now, this is related to the word morsel in English, a morsel of, so that's how you can remember that one. Une tranche, it's a slice of, and you can remember this one because it's related to the word trench in English, which is a slice out of the earth. Un plat, which is a dish, a plate, or an order of. It's different than, you also have the word assiette, which you may know. Une assiette is a literal plate. D'accord? So this is a different, it's talking to what's on the plate when you say un plat. D'accord? Un bol, obviously a bowl. Un bout. Un bout is a chunk of, so a little bit bigger than un morceau. You've got un bout. D'accord? Une boîte. Box or can. It's both boxes of stuff and cans of stuff. They use the same word, une boîte in French. D'accord? And then you'd have to say une boîte en métal, a metal boîte, or une boîte en carton, cardboard boîte. Un pot. Un pot can be a jar, a pot, or a glass. So you would say un pot de confiture, for example, a jar of jelly or jam. Un sac. You know, a sac à dos, that'll be easy. A little sack, a tiny little sack, like a packet of tea or sugar, is un sachet. D'accord? See, a little packet of sugar, un sachet de sucre. And then finally, you've got un tonneau, is a barrel. D'accord? Related to our word ton. So what is this extra piece here? So une tranche de pizza means a slice of pizza. But what if you want to say, I want a slice of the pizza? If we're talking about a specific pizza, well, that is, even though I told you don't use le or la or du, it is possible to say when you're using nouns of quantity to say, I want une tranche du pizza. Cool? So that's something that you can, it's grammatically possible to say. Likewise, you could say, voilà un verre du vin blanc. If you're saying, here's a glass of the white wine, and you're referring to a specific white wine, it is grammatically possible to do that, but you're not going to do it on your quizzes. Or else it means something else, and I won't put of the pizza or of the white wine on your quizzes. So just be aware of that. Don't do it. All right, the practice is, I think, pretty straightforward. The biggest difficulty you'll have is memorizing those words. So make sure you study them. So numéro un, it says, I know a lot of people. And then we have the word des gens over here. Des gens means people. And it's got the word des, which means some or nothing. So people or some people. But we're not going to use the word des when we go to write this. Because we're using a lot of, which is beaucoup de. So all you need to do is remember that word beaucoup de, and then type in the word for people, beaucoup de gens. Easy. D'accord? Likewise, you've got in number two, we'll just do one more. I want just a little bit of pork. D'accord? A little bit is un peu. D'accord? Un peu de. And then you've got du porc. We just want to say a little bit of, and then the word porc. Un peu de porc. Easy. I think it's easy. Again, your biggest obstacle will be to make sure you've memorized these things already. D'accord? So voilà. Make sure you study those, and you can check your answers online. C'est bon.